This is Coachella Valley Homegrown, an in-depth look at your hometown farmers. Each episode of Coachella Valley Homegrown spotlights family farmers in the Coachella Valley who grow some of the world's most nutritious, best tasting, and healthiest fruits and vegetables. For more than 100 years, farmers have come here to the Coachella Valley. The land, the climate, for whatever reason, it's perfect for growing the finest fruits and vegetables in the world. The pioneer farmers had to face some pretty harsh realities. A warm desert climate that got really hot in the summer. Sometimes it even froze in the winter. And they had to deal with a land that used to be the ocean. And they were able to leach it so the salt was gone. And they're now able to grow incredible abundance, just like all of these wonderful artichokes. Today, Coachella Valley farmers face urban development, they face excessive government regulations, and one of the other things, which is why I'm here today, and that is the lack of knowledge of the consumer, that's you and me. We don't have a clue what is right here in our own backyard, all these wonderful fresh fruits and vegetables that are Coachella Valley homegrown. Shields Date Garden is the retail outlet for Coachella Valley's Jewel Date Company. Located on Highway 111 in Indio since 1924, Shields Date Garden has been a visitor's oasis and an ambassador for one of Coachella Valley Homegrown's most well-known products, the date.
What truly makes Shields unique is that we carry more varieties of dates than anyone else in the valley or in the United States. Just when you walk in the store, most people think there's maybe one or two varieties of dates, but we carry over 20 varieties of dates. We carry them in many, many sizes. We go as small as 8 ounces of the dates up to 15 pounds. We have them for every kind of thing you can use them for cooking, for eating, for baking. And if you ever have the occasion to come to Shields Date Garden, you'll get a really unique treat. You'll be able to watch our Sex Life of the Date in our Romance Theater. It seats 100 people. And you'll have a premier expert in the field by Mr. Shields narrating how he did the processes of making his date crystals and also the care and time it takes to raise dates. And what makes our crystals so outstanding is we have a really unique thing. We have a date that was invented or made in 1920s by Mr. Shields. So what he did is he took the pits of Dayglet Norris, he threw them on the ground, and he came up with this beautiful date called the Blonde. But it is unique taste for our date shakes, and no one else in the world carries that date because the land that it's on produces that variety of date, and no one else can repeat that. What's unique about the date business is that it's so labor intensive. We spend maybe 100 days a year up in the trees doing many different things. We have to hand pollinate, and we have to trim them, we have to thin them, and we have to bag them prior to them being taken off the tree due to the fact that we have to protect them at certain times of the year. What you're seeing is the end product here at Shields, but when we start the date process, when we start picking them, they start in very big bins, and they come off the tree. They'll probably be a little dusty from the soils we have. Then they're taken to our processing plant, and then they're cleaned, and then they're sorted, and then they're graded by size, and then they're packed for not just delivery here to the store, but sent to stores around the country. That all in all takes a 9-month process every year to produce a good quality date. After seeing our processes and our other facilities here at Shields, this is the ending process. We pack it fresh every day. So when you come to our store, you don't have to worry about that product being out there very long because it's just come out there that same day. And we put them into our custom packages for our retail customer. We take very much pride in how we package our things, and we have some really good, strong employees here that make sure that they make it consistent and quality oriented all the time. Something that's unique here at Shields too, since we've been in business, we've been taking phone orders for dates since the mid-30s. And we have some clients that have been with us for 50 years. And we also have employees like Yadira and like Ann, who's been here for over 12 years, who knows every one of them individually. And when they call, she knows exactly what they want, when they want it. With our date catalog, we have a nice fan base. We send over 30,000 catalogs out each year. With the advent of new technology and the internet, we also have a really nice website. We continually work on it. We try and make it easier for the customer to use. We like to share some recipes with them, and we also like them to share recipes with us. If you have the opportunity to come and see Shields anytime during your visits down here to the Coachella Valley, you'll be able to walk back in time. You'll be able to browse through our store for a good 45 minutes and not see every item that we have for sale. And you can also taste the breads, the torts, the cookies, and you'll be able to taste every sample of dates that is available for you to buy. And to top it all off, you can buy our world famous date shake.
Coachella Valley Homegrown is brought to you by RDO Equipment, your John Deere dealer in Indio. Dates have the highest content of antioxidants, more than any other food per serving. Dates also have the most potassium and the preferred sugars for energy. Dates also are fat-free, salt-free, and contain no cholesterol. Peter Rabbit Farms founder, Palmer Powell, began his produce career during the Depression. He was a truck driver for the San Francisco Terminal Produce Market.
We're the third generation of Peter Rabbit Farms. My grandfather started it in 1949. My father spent his life working in this business, and he retired 5 years ago. So my brother and I are running the company, and we still have a great group of management and employees that have been with us for a long time, and everybody comes to work with a passion for what we're doing, and it's in the field, it's in the coolers, it's in the sales office and the administrative staff. What we produce is stuff that you can eat raw out of the field: broccoli, lettuce, carrots, table grapes, citrus, and these are real foods. Why do you think the supermarkets put produce in the front? Because that's what draws people in. It's beautiful to look at. People see it and they feel like they're on the farm. You know, they want to create that nice bucolic feeling.
Well, our goal in this company is to grow not only the finest looking food that appeals to the consumer and that can be shipped all over North America. One of our main goals also is to produce food that is extremely safe. We're constantly testing our water sources. We're testing our product here to make sure that there's nothing in it that's going to do any harm to the consumer at all. And I think people really believe that farmers aren't watching that, but the truth is we're the ones watching it the most, because we are more dedicated to food safety than anybody, even on the store level, because our reputation's at stake, and we know what we're doing is important to families all across America, and that is to produce safe and healthy food for their families.
Today you can drive down Highway 111 towards the Salton Sea, and you can see crops of all sorts on either side of the road. This may not last, and some people, planners, elected officials, other people are concerned that this may, in 20 or 50 years, be gone. It'll be paved over. It'll be covered with strip malls and apartments and condos and that sort of thing. Well, we would love to preserve agriculture in the Coachella Valley, but we don't want to do it by some law or some edict, because that doesn't create a sustainable solution. If we're going to solve this problem of ag being converted to something else, the only way we can do that is through market-based sustainability. That's where people buy our products in a way that we can make a profit. It might be a small profit, but at least we can make enough of a profit to be able to continue doing this year after year. So what happens is people go to the grocery store and they're not asking their grocer where something is grown, or they're not demanding that they buy something that's grown locally. This needs to change. If you believe in having farming, you know, our own food supply grown in the United States, if you believe in paying $10 an hour instead of $10 a day, if you believe in not having your children working in the fields, if you believe in clean water, if you believe in all these things, which people do because they've passed all these laws, right, in California and in the United States, if you believe in these things, then support us and buy our product.
What's important, if you are a lover of produce and you love fresh fruits and vegetables, the main thing you have to do is go down to the local store and demand that they buy local produce from the Coachella Valley. People of North America are buying our produce and enjoying it, but very little of it actually gets into the stores here locally. So the consumer has to go into the store, talk to the produce manager, and tell him, I want Coachella Valley produce, and let them label it so that you know what it is.
Coachella Valley Homegrown is brought to you by RDO Equipment, your John Deere dealer in Indio. Today's Coachella Valley farmers' overall crop production generates sales of $486 million, and they do that on less than 60,000 acres. Annually, that's among the highest return per agriculture acre in the United States and the world. Have you ever wondered how they grow cauliflower? It's right like this. It's kind of a little bunch, you know, and this thing comes out of the ground, but all these leaves are around to protect it, and then when they harvest it, it comes out like this, and you have beautiful, fresh Coachella Valley homegrown cauliflower, which I eat right out of the field. That is so sweet. It's almost like candy. Coachella Valley homegrown cauliflower. The continuing agricultural expansion of the Coachella Valley is made possible by the 122-mile Coachella Canal, which was completed in 1949, and it was paid for by the farmers. The canal delivers water from the Colorado River to Coachella Valley farmlands.
It does not get any better than this. Every day I'm out in the fruit vegetable fields meeting farmers, making sure they have the John Deere tractors needed to farm their land. Peter Rabbit Farm's Steve Powell leads the farm team that grows the best tasting, healthiest, and safest fruits and vegetables in the world. Without Steve Powell and RDO John Deere tractors, all of this abundance of food would not be possible. We at RDO know how important our job is. We pride ourselves on our service to the Coachella Valley farmers. Look for the Coachella Valley Homegrown label. Grown local, buy local. It's good for your health and for the local economy.
We're here to help with this program called Operation Vitamin C with Hidden Harvest, where the City of Indian Wells has partnered with them to collect grapefruit. Well, our role here is to pick grapefruit from people that can't do this themselves. They're either medically unable to or physically unable to. And so these grapefruit get distributed to people who need food and extra vitamin C.
Have you ever wondered how artichokes grow? Well, they're right here, a whole field of them, acres and acres of beautiful Coachella Valley artichokes. They come in a bush, and it has some leaves, lots of leaves, and then stalks. A stalk grows up like this, and at the end of the stalk is the artichoke. And they're able to grow, oh, I don't know, like 4 months of artichokes, because every time they pick one, which basically they have to do, they have to cut them. They cut them like this. Well, they just take a knife and do that, and they get a beautiful artichoke. And they can do this about 20 times over a period of 4 months because they just keep growing and growing and growing. So the next time you see an artichoke in the store, you look for Coachella Valley Homegrown label, because it doesn't get any better than this.
People don't realize that Coachella Valley today pays the highest ag wages in the country, and we also have the safest product in the world. There's no question about it. No question. I wouldn't bring them home to my grandchildren or my family if they weren't safe. I eat them right out of the field. I know there's nothing on there that's going to hurt anybody.
The story behind Anthony Vineyards and its founder, Anthony Bianco, is the story of the American dream. Beginning with an ambitious immigrant father who had a keen sense for business, now 2 brothers and their children carry on the tradition at Anthony Vineyards, which ranks as one of the country's major producers of table grapes.
Our family involvement in agriculture goes back a long way. My parents immigrated from Italy back in the 20s. He became a fruit peddler, and with that he developed a business where he would import grapes from California and sell them to people, and they would make their own wine. He became very successful at it. Well, in 1942 he moved the family to Fresno, bought some land, and that's how we ended up in the farming business. It was 4 brothers, 2 brothers that passed away, and there's 2 of us left, myself and my brother Dominic, or Cookie. And we learned the hard way. We both worked very hard for many years. We've expanded the business. It's a real family business. It is to this day. I have a son in the business that's slowly taking over, and he has a daughter in the business and a son-in-law. And I also have a son-in-law in the business. So we hope to be farming in the next 50 years just as we did previously.
Come on, we'll find one. Now look around. Does it look like we have any right here that need to be planted?
I think one's right here.
This is the grapevine here, and one here. But we're missing one here. This one died for some reason. And that's what happens once in a while. So you see, this is the baby. See the baby, and it's growing? See how small it is? I'm going to teach you how to plant this. Okay? You want to dig a hole? Let's dig it right here. We want to get it right in the middle. Okay? Right here, right in the middle. And just dig down. Take big pieces. And we'll put them over here. Okay? You can dig. You can't hurt it.
You can't hurt it?
Nope. You can't hurt anything. It's just dirt. And if you want to get your hands in there, you can get your hands in there sometimes. We want to make a nice big hole. You see how big this is?
Yeah.
We're going to take this plastic off, son, and then, can you imagine this? And then we're going to put all of this dirt and this vine in the hole. So this hole needs to be this big. See how big that is? But it's got to be deep, so let's dig. Okay? You can use 2 hands if you need 2 hands.
How?
Just use 2 hands like this. Like this. Okay? And then push it down. Okay? There you go. See you got a big scoop? Okay, let's check. Should we check to see if it'll fit? Perfect? Does it look good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you see this vine? If we pull it out of here with one hand, it's going to rip out of here. We might hurt it. Because this is alive. You see it's growing? So we want to roll it a little bit like this. Here, you do it. You can do it with me. Okay, roll it a little bit like this. Loosen it up. Okay? Put your hands here. This. Okay? Go like this. Gently pull this out. Pull it all the way out, son. Okay? You want to pull this out. You taking it out? Good job. Hold it. Now you put it right in the hole. Okay? You put it in there. Make sure it's straight. Okay, now put the dirt back in. Okay, you can use your hands. Sometimes the hands are better. Okay? Now, you see right here, it's push it down, push it down. You want to pack it really good.
Does it hurt the plant when we put dirt?
No, it likes it. This is its new home. We're making a new home. Okay, so it looks good, but we're not done. You see this right here?
They're getting dirty.
I know, that's the fun part here. Take this and you want to go like this. Okay? So you're trying to pack it down a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Good job. You want to get all the air pockets out. You don't want any air in there.
Air?
Yeah, we don't want any air, or you want it to be have a nice little
No
home
bugs?
for it, and no bugs. Okay, now. Well, how's it look? Does it look good?
Yeah.
Go like this. A little dirty. Let me see your hands. Let me see them. Go like this. Good job, son. Couple of months we'll have grapes at home.
You need to be the best, and the corporate farmers cannot compete with a hands-on family business. They just can't be done. They tried it before, where huge corporations, oil companies came in and tried to do farming businesses. They're no longer in business, and yet the family farmer is still there. They do the best job. It's the old-fashioned way, but it's still the best way. produce that's grown locally is very fresh for obvious reasons. It's very close to us. It gets picked one day, it gets consumed the next. And the minute you pick any agricultural product, the dying process starts. So the sooner that you get it cooled and out to the public, the longer the shelf life is. I know sometimes the public really has a problem because their local supermarket doesn't have them. Now, if you go into your local supermarket and you see Chilean grapes there, or you see Mexican grapes, then it's up to the public to ask their local market and say, why don't you carry locally grown produce?
Coachella Valley Homegrown is brought to you by RDO Equipment, your John Deere dealer in Indio. The California table grape season begins in late spring when the first grapes are harvested from vines in the Coachella Valley. The warm desert climate helps ensure that fresh grapes will appear in markets across the country from mid-May through July. Tudor Ranch was Vladimir and Marion Tudor's dream, and today that dream is being carried on by Vladimir's children. For the Tudor family, continuing the family farming business is an important part of their heritage because that's the way Vladimir and his father before him would have wanted it.
My grandfather is from a small village in Croatia called Velograblje. He came to America, I believe, in the late 30s. His name was Vladimir Marion Tudor Sr., and they ended up in the Rialto Fontana area where he farmed with his brothers, who several of them also immigrated over here. And he started farming over there. He kind of saw a almost like a farming niche out here. He saw what the weather was like. He just saw the potential for farming grapes. So he started coming out in the late 40s to this Coachella Valley, and my father started coming out when he was 15 with my grandfather. My father married my mother in 1962. At that point, they were in the home ranch.
The home ranch is called the home ranch because it was the place, the first home where my mother and father lived in the early 60s. It was a very small building. It had a small kitchen, a small bedroom, a small little dining room area, and when my parents moved out of that building, it got transferred to our office before we moved into Mecca. And it was my dad's office, the secretaries, and then the kitchen was still there, and they had lunch there every day, and that was always something I enjoyed doing when I was younger. I can still remember as a young kid going out there for lunch with my mom.
When my grandfather passed away in '74, my father and my uncle, they started working together, and they continued to farm and increase the business and the success until the early 80s when my brother Vladdy Tudor, he came back from college to work full-time. That continued on with my dad as happy as can be until he passed away unexpectedly in 1996. So after Dad died in '96, it was really Vladdy and Uncle Marion working together to do what Dad had done for so many years by himself. And the next kind of progression in our family business was George coming back, where he had actually graduated with an ag degree in Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He came back to the ranch and started working full-time.
My job in all this is just general management. My brother and uncle and I kind of set the direction that we want to go in. I kind of go out and see that it happens in the way that we want it to be done.
I came back in December of '98. I take care of all of the financial work, the tax planning. I don't know about other families. We have 5 kids in my immediate sibling family that went away to school, all came back to the desert. 4 of us, 4 of 5, are educated, out of the valley, back to the valley, working with the farm, which is amazing, I think.
Tudor Ranch, we are driven, we have our own pride that we want to grow the best grape. We want to have the highest quality. We want to have a safe working environment. We want people to come to work. We want them to be efficient. We want everything to be done to the highest level and highest quality possible, hopefully, because it is our reputation, it's our name. It is a family farm. It's Tudor Ranch. It's not some corporation. It's Tudor Ranch, and my last name's Tudor.
Coachella Valley Homegrown is brought to you by RDO Equipment, your John Deere dealer in Indio. The Coachella Valley markets over 60 varieties of orchard and vegetable crops. The main cash crops include citrus, dates, table grapes, melons, corn, lettuce, carrots, broccoli, and a number of specialty vegetables. How fortunate we are to live right here in the Coachella Valley, so close to all this abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables. Coachella Valley Homegrown is dedicated to the family farmers that for generations have farmed and provided us with the best tasting, healthiest fruits and vegetables in the world. In the next episodes of Coachella Valley Homegrown, we will spotlight Coachella Valley growers Tony Bianco from Desert Fresh, Gordon Chuchin from Sundate, the Keck family from Hadley Dates, and Mark Nickerson and Chuck Hodges from Prime Time. This is Coachella Valley Homegrown lettuce. There's not a lot of places in the world that I would walk into a field of lettuce and eat it. But I will right here in the Coachella Valley because it's Coachella Valley Homegrown. Now the next best thing to eating it right out of the field is having it in your market here in the Coachella Valley. Now when you go into the produce section of your market, and if you don't see the Coachella Valley Homegrown label on the food you're buying in the fruits and vegetable section, I'd like you to ask your store manager why it isn't there, or the produce manager. And if they don't get it for you, I want you to call me. Call me, email me, whatever it takes, so that you too can have the abundance of Coachella Valley homegrown produce. Fresh, healthy, safe. It's good for your health, and it's really good for the economy.